Okay, let's move into this. So we looked at using the That's Gold platform that Channel 9 used to have for the footy show, and Graham's gone away and found out that that has actually been copyrighted. So what we've come up with is this is gold. Well, let's hope that we can actually make this work. This is just what we've put together in the last couple of days. We'll need to do some work on the artwork and improve it, but this is at least a roadmap that we can use to run through what we've got access to as far as information goes. So the question is, what happened when you left high school? Did you think you were going to just get a job and live happily ever after? Because when I left high school, that was kind of the format that everybody talked about. You go and get a job with the public service and you work for 40 years in that environment. The problem is that doesn't actually work. It didn't work then because people were starting to lose that affinity with their employer. And when I was in the US, I discovered that the average individual changes not only their job, but their occupation 7 times in their working life. So that doesn't bode well for people that get a job and just think they're going to work there forever. Or do you become self-employed like I did and get out and build your own residual income? Oops. So Carolyn and I have always looked for residual income, and we've started a number of businesses over the years. We've funded a bunch of startups, and we think that we're going to find something in our roadmap that will deliver residual income, and that's what we set out to do. And the process that we've gone down over the years is risky and expensive. So we were always looking. Now here's a 5-minute video coming up that I discovered only today, and it talks about exactly what we're on about tonight.
Stocks saw one of the worst days in 2018 on Tuesday, so should you be rushing to safety now? Joining me now is E.B. Tucker, editor of the KC Report. E.B., always good to be reunited with you.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk equities here. Tuesday was an ugly day. Markets closed this Wednesday, but could things turn around here or only get worse?
Look, I think things look pretty bad. I mean, the market's weak. It's cracked. Dow's down 800 yesterday. Gold was up. I mean, I think we're seeing a new season coming in.
Well, I want to talk about that because some would say gold did not react because of equities. Do you feel that there's something else at play here?
I think it's done pretty well. I mean, let's go back 3 years. Gold hit a low of 1050. Today it's 1240. It keeps making higher lows. It's not done that bad. It's about flat for the year.
So why does it get such a bad rap, or people are just so hard on gold?
So I think that's good. So you've seen things blow up. The cannabis bubble has popped and the stocks are declining. Cannabis business is okay, by the way, but the stocks are going down. The Bitcoin bubble has definitely popped. We called that last year. It's down 70% this year. So what we do is we run a test for dogma in investments, okay? And so dogma is when you just believe something just because you believe it, and people believe this way about cannabis and Bitcoin.
Right.
Meanwhile, the markets are crashing. So with gold, there's no dogma. Everyone knows something could go wrong. It already has gone wrong. People are really negative, and basically no one owns gold. The field is very thin.
So do you think it's fair then when people compare and have these conversations, like, should I be in Bitcoin, should I be in cannabis, or should I be in gold? Is it fair that gold's even taking part in this conversation?
It's totally different asset. Gold is money. So gold's always been money. It always will be money. And so it's going to return to its safe haven.
The long debate that never ends, right? Yeah. Is gold money or not? You definitely see it as...
It's money, and you trade it for other money at times that are advantageous. Now's a great time to buy gold. The chart from 2000 looks great as well if you look at that.
So what's your counter argument when someone says, well, gold's not money because I can't go into a store and buy a suit with gold?
Right. Well, you can change that into anything you
And
want.
that's my rebuttal.
You can buy any suit that you want, you know. So the other thing is, just remember, you don't have to win people over. You know, you're not running for elected office with gold. You know, this is just something that we choose. Now, in 2011, we had Mr. T running commercials, bring your gold in here and we'll give you money for it. And that was very popular. That entire business is gone. So what people have to realize is, to make big money in this market, you have to see the cycles. Nothing changes. We've had 3 big cycles in gold since 2000, and we're about to have another one.
So do you think we could go back to 1900?
Absolutely, or higher. But we're not calling for that next year. We're calling for 1500 next year. That's a 22% increase in the price of gold. It'll be one of the best performing markets in a very, very volatile year for equities.
Last time you were on, I asked you, when are we going to get that gold rally? You said you want a gold rally. You'll get one. I know you said that the past 3 years haven't been that bad, but people really want to see this huge boost.
Yeah.
So what about a mini boost?
Okay, so we went to 1350 roughly, and then Vanguard closed its fund. We had a really tough summer. For us, we got very optimistic at that point. That was a good time for us to take positions because stocks sold off indiscriminately. Okay, so we will see this rally. You want to be excited before the rally, not after. So once gold hits the new high, that's the time you really need to take some money off the table. So try to think differently and try to see these cycles, see where we are in these cycles. That's what the big money does. That's what we do, and that's when we're excited. When things are booming and it's front page headlines in the Wall Street Journal, we're selling.
Evie, you wear many different hats. You're involved obviously with Casey, Doug Casey, but you're also involved on the mining side with Metalla. What's new here?
So Metalla Royalty is a company we started 2 years ago. We bought 25 royalties. We pay a monthly dividend. This is direct exposure to gold and silver. When you look back at these cycles I was talking about, Wheaton Precious, which was silver Wheaton, got to a low of $3 in 2008. It shot as high as 40 during that next gold cycle. That's the kind of move that you see in royalty stocks. That's why we started Metalla in a down market. It's Canadian listed MTA and the US listed MTAFF. And this is one of the only stocks that pays a monthly dividend, pays 2.25%. That's higher than the S&P with a lot less volatility. It's a very exciting time for royalties.
We're seeing some headlines in the royalty space right now that might not be so positive. How do you try and separate yourself from the other royalties out there?
So it depends on what you see. I'm a director of the company, so I definitely steer how we go about buying royalties. We don't overpay for them. We have a strict model. We miss on a lot of deals. I'd say we miss on 9 for every deal that we get. We're just not going to overpay, because what you do is you lock in future gold and silver production at today's prices. And so if you pay tomorrow's prices, you haven't really created any value.
So you don't see it as a missed opportunity?
That's right. We're doing great. We have plenty of things, deals in the pipeline. We've closed plenty of deals, and we're very optimistic about right now as a time to buy more of these.
Evie Tucker, I wish you continued success, best of luck, and happy 2019.
Thanks
for
so
joining
much.
us. And thanks for watching. We'll have much more for you on our Outlook 2019 on kitco.com.
So that video was recorded in December of 2018. So we're just coming into the 2019. This analyst has predicted that there will be a massive upsurge in the price of gold. And what tweaked my interest about this video was he talked about and hit on a number of key things that this business that we've looked at meets. And Brent, you've got your hand up there. I'm figuring you want to say something.
I just wanted to let you know I'm back on the screen. I don't know what happened before.
Yep. Okay.
No, you continue. You just ask me something as we go if you wish.
Okay, that's all good. So I'm going to just continue on with this for the moment, and I'll bring you back in to talk about some stuff in a minute.
Sure.
Mr. Duck, can you talk to us a little bit about your understanding of the metal markets, the gold and silver markets over the last 30, 40 years?
Derek, as you're aware, I spent quite a bit of time in the financial world. I've been advising financially clients to buy gold and silver since '89. And we started trading gold at $289 US an ounce and $4 US an ounce for silver, and have seen it rise and fall through the cycles of what this chap was talking about here in the cycle that we're coming into, which is the 4th cycle since the 2008 crisis, and certainly since 2010. Gold / precious metals have been a go-to haven for people in times of crises and doubt, when World economies are looking a little bit teetery. Recessions are a little bit crazy. You can even go back further than that to what gold did in the 29-30 recession, which it went crazy at the time, which was big dollars. Gold, I think, hit $35 an ounce way back in 29. But it has been cyclical. It's not something that a lot of advisors place a lot of credit on because, one, they don't make any money out of it as a trading commission, and two, people don't view it as being liquid. You've got to pick the gram up or the ounce up or the kilo up and take it into a bullion dealer and trade it, where money is sitting in a bank account, usually accruing interest, where gold hasn't accrued interest. It's something that you hold for that rainy day season. Myself, as you are aware, I prefer to have some and have diversity through it. But the way that this is being presented, that we can buy grams or a gram or multiple of grams and put it away, with gold going the way it's looking at going, this gentleman's talking $1,500 an ounce plus. I'm talking US here because it's already much more than that Australian. 1914, I think it was today in the Perth Mint for an ounce. These guys are talking $1,500 US an ounce, so that's going to be $2,200, $2,300 Australian. I expected to see it go much higher with what's happening with the volatility around the world. The other interesting thing with it is, if any of you have placed any research or taken any awareness of what's been happening around the world in the last 2 years, central banks across the globe are buying substantial quantities of gold and putting it away to hedge against what we in the industry call fiat currency, devaluing across the global structure, where we've seen the Australian dollar down to 68.8 today, I think it was. The euro today in Australian terms is 62 cents. So we're hedging across the world with gold tradable in any currency anywhere, and the cycle that we're heading into is gold and silver is going to be something that's going to gain value and always be there for a rainy day should we need it.
Yep, that's a fair comment, and I'll move on to some of that through the next slide, because we've discovered gold, and here's a couple of points from the video. We actually, in this business, have discovered a way to convert gold into currency dynamically. So you can be, as that lady said in the video, the problem is you can't buy a suit with it. Well, with this business, you can. Gold is money in this instance, and they're already looking at another gold cycle. A point that analyst made was that you need to be excited before the rally, not after. And that's something that I've been conscious of over the years, because it's an amazing process when you think that you're sitting on top of something and it's about to go ballistic. Then that's where you need to be excited, not after the rally, because that's where you lose money. So what if we could mix gold with cryptocurrency? I've always stayed out of the crypto market because to me it was vaporware. It was like the tech boom of the 90s. There's nothing behind it to sustain it. But hang on a minute, there actually is something here. So my ideal outcome was the drawer full of gold. And those of you that have seen the movie The Accountant, this is part of the caravan that the guy owns. She opens the drawer and it's full of gold and silver. There's another drawer with currency. There's another drawer with all sorts of other assets. But this is something I've always dreamed about. And now all of a sudden, we've got an option to do exactly that. And here's an intro from Forbes magazine, and I can email this link to anybody that wants it. This came from Brent today, and it talks about the 10 blockchain companies to watch in 2019. Now, if you'd have sent this to me 6 weeks ago, I would have deleted the email. I wouldn't have opened it. But number 7 on this list is Karatbars International. They're based in Germany. they've got the best of technology where they're linking cryptocurrency with gold. And yes, they have a voice over blockchain phone. Yes, they have all sorts of whiz-bang stuff. But at the end of the day, they've built a system that links the cryptocurrency system with actual real gold. So that's the best of both worlds. And if you've never heard of them, that's what their logo is. It's a K on a chewed out piece of gold. And I say it's a chewed out, it looks like someone took a bite out of it. I wouldn't mind the bite, actually. Brent actually gave Graham a gram of gold to go and get assayed at a jeweler down the coast, and it came back as exactly that, 99.9% pure gold.
Can I just clarify that, Derek?
Yep.
It went to an assay office. The jeweler won't assay it. Precious Metal Technologies, they refine gold. The jewelers can take their filings to them and they will refine it, but they also assay gold.
Yes.
And they were happy to assay it and gave us a report. Yes, it meets the LMBA or LBMA criteria, and it is 999.9.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks, Graham. So we are now aware that the gold that we're talking about is real gold. And that's what really got me excited when I thought about the fact that if all this goes to pot, the worst thing that's going to happen is I've got a drawer full of gold. How bad can that be if we've actually got the ability to stash a drawer full of gold? So this is the name of the company, Karatbars International. They have all sorts of facilities around the world. They're established in 2011. They say there's 550,000 affiliates at the moment, which is a small number. I suspect that has grown a bit since this was produced, but they're operating in a number of countries, over 100 countries. This is the gentleman that founded the company. And if you actually Google him and do a bit of research on him, you'll find that he's a pretty smart individual. He's written a couple of books. He's been sought out by governments and universities to talk about currency, etc., etc. There's a whole lot of good press out there. So with the Gold Standard Bank, this is a complex picture when you first look at it, but you'll see there's a couple of mines involved. They have a trading platform. There is a bank. They have a bank built on cryptocurrency. Now, don't get too hung up on what the arrows mean and all that sort of stuff. Here's the thing to remember. If you listen to that video before, the guy said, we buy gold with contracts. We don't take every contract. We buy gold based on today's price, not tomorrow's price. That's what this company is doing. They're building into their ecosystem a platform that lets them buy gold at a price that allows them to make a profit. And the benefit of that is we get to make the profit. That's what I think is a really cool idea.
If you like, I'll extrapolate that out a bit, Derek.
Go for your life.
So gold mines run on production and they need a cash flow. They estimate what gold they're going to produce this year off what the geologists have told them is in the ground. And they then estimate and say, okay, we're going to produce 100,000 ounces this year. We'll sell 50,000 ounces now on contract at today's price. So we know we've got that booked in, and the other 50,000, well, whether it's up or whether it's down at the time, we'll take it from there. That's what they mean by their contract.
Yep, very good. So that's why this company manages to make a profit buying gold directly from the mine. So if you think back to 1971, our good friend, Mr. Nixon, who left office under somewhat of a cloud, but he did throw a salute to everybody as he got in the helicopter to fly away from the White House. He changed the currency in America from a gold standard into, gee, mate, it'll be fine. Let me give you one of these dollars. Don't you worry about it. So the gold has become more and more valuable over years. And if you look at why, think about inflation. Now, this is a bit exaggerated, but think back to 1998, what you bought for $100 in the grocery shop. And today we were in in T-Bones, which is the cheapest grocery shop that I know of. And we spent $140 in a heartbeat and walked out with 2 carry bags. That's just crazy. And yet you go back to 1990, that was an absolute huge basket full of product that you would leave the shop with. So that's why currency in and of itself gets eaten up because of inflation. But if you go right back to 1920, a kilo of gold would buy you a car, as it does today. So with the gold standard, you can actually buy gold in multiples of 1 gram, as Graham talked about. You see in the top right corner on the right-hand side of the screen, they are 1 gram cards. So the gold is real, it's in the card, it's 1 gram at a time. You can also do all sorts of other things. You can buy plastic money with gold inserted in fractions down to 1/10 of a gram. So there's lots of ways you can do this.
I think you need to make people aware, Derek, those cards are tamper-proof. So if the gold has been changed, they will know. It's a bit like your passport. They're tamper-proof. They can be identified very quickly that they can be or they have been altered.
Yes, and that would be the function of an assay office or a jeweller. They'll be able to see that that gold has actually been modified. I looked at it and thought, that looks way too complex for me. I don't have a light or whatever it is that they use, but yes, they do have a number of different ways that they check the value of what's in that card.
Or a bullion dealer when you go to trade it.
Or a bullion dealer, yes. And that's why we want a drawer full of the stuff. So if you can think through what's happening here, this is an absolute cooperation of companies. You look at the range of the companies on the bottom. It's founded in Singapore in 2015, so that's only 4 years ago. And this is going to incorporate a payment system with merchants where it's backed by gold. And if you look at companies like Visa, Amex, MasterCard, PayPal, Apple Pay, think about all of that if it was backed by gold. And yes, here's how you do it on a phone. I've spent a number of phone calls talking to Brent about building a merchant network with this system. It's completely free for the merchants to become part of it. They don't pay any fees. Let's just understand that this payment system is worldwide. You can pay with gold, you can pay with crypto, you can pay with all sorts of different things. It's automatic and the merchants pay no fees. Let me state that again. The merchants pay no fees. They get to choose whether they want currency, gold, or cryptocurrency. They can choose it for every transaction. The other thing that's coming is an ATM, and in fact, I think they've just released them. You can buy them and put them in all sorts of places. You can convert your Bitcoin into gold or fiat currency or whatever you want to do. These will be a great system. So the Gold Standard Bank, this guy has built a banking system that operates on the blockchain. So we're going to be able to create systems where we can convert our gold or our crypto into gold or all of it into cash money. The Gold Standard's vision is basically to make this a blockchain-based payment system that you can use anywhere. Now you can read all the details of this. They created $100 million in capital with Karatbars Bank. They got assets worth a couple of billion. Okay, that's all good and wonderful. Here's the thing. This is a gold-backed currency. Gold-backed currency. There's 2 coins in the marketplace, 2 crypto coins. They will hard fork. I don't know why they call it a hard fork. That means they join back together. Very soon, you will be able to exchange your cryptocurrency for real physical gold next month, and again, maybe it becomes cheaper in January. So I'd be holding on to any cryptocurrency I've got in this until January, whereupon you can exchange 75 coins for a gram of gold. And at the moment, you can buy those coins for, I believe, at 0.14 of the euro. So there's lots of things coming. There's the phones, there's all sorts of stuff. I cannot begin to tell you about the model that this builds, but I can talk to you about the potential. And just think about, this is a gold-backed currency. You can do everything you want with it. Here's something that's very key. In March, the K-Phone pre-sale launch happened. In July, it's what they call Gold Independence Day, where you can begin to exchange your coins for physical gold. September, the bank pre-sale finishes, Karat Coin Bank pre-sale finishes. Interestingly, with this company, they've hit every milestone. So when the date comes for a coin to do something, it happens. Now, Brent, we're about the point where we can get you in to talk about this company because you've had exposure to them for quite some time.
Yes. Thank you. Can you hear me, Derek?
Yep, all good.
Mate, just first of all, what a fantastic presentation from you and Mr. Duck. There's not much to add to that really, except to say I've been purchasing gold from this company for a little under 12 months now. I did a fair bit of due diligence before that. As you saw, they've been going since 2011. They're the largest company in the world of supplying small grams of full increments of grams between 1, 2.5 and 5 grams. That last, if you go back to that slide just before that with the milestones, as you said, Derek, they've hit every milestone, every date that they've been promising us. They've reached. I went to Dubai for that K-Phone pre-launch. I wanted to eyeball this owner, and I know as I've been studying Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, there's no one, no one really knows who runs those companies, who's the CEO or whatever. And Harold, he's a real man. He is he's a visionary, and the K-Phone is going to change the way we communicate. The Gold Independence Day, the 4th of July there, that's less than a month away now. I was fortunate enough to purchase a fair bit of coin early for this, and we'll be able to exchange 100 coins for a gram of gold in July 4th. The Karat Coin Bank pre-sales finished is in September. The main net release is basically their own blockchain. People will know more about blockchain than I do, but you can imagine how exciting that is. The hard fork is meaning the two coins that we have will be created into one coin called the gold standard coin. And in January of next year, for less amount of coins, we get 1 physical gram of gold. I don't want to go into too much more detail there, except to say that when I was doing my due diligence, I wanted to know how I could get my gold. And I did give Graham one of those grams so he could check it out for me. He's very knowledgeable in gold. And it came to me by FedEx. FedEx would not be with a company with any reputation. So that got me excited. Then I said, how do I get my money if I want to show other people how this works? So we're going to send that to you via MasterCard, your own global payment system with a debit MasterCard. And as we know, MasterCard are in the money business, and they vetted. They don't just let anyone put their name on a card. So those things got me excited. I think for now, Derek, that's all I wanted to add. Again, brilliant presentation. I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions when we finally do go live with these webinars. But for now, thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thanks, Brent, and I really appreciate that you picked up the phone and called me just a few weeks ago. So that's the end of the presentation for the moment.